you guys. Thanks so much for clicking on my channel. We're all smiles over here. I am Will Sanja, like asking a question. Will Sanja help you keep your smile for today? And hopefully the answer is yes, you guys. I'm trying not to keep it long, but y'all already know. If it gets good, I'm gonna keep on talking. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. To go nugget today is pray for President Trump and all of our leaders. Listen, I know you're saying, what? I ain't watching this mess. You want me to pray for who? President Trump? I ain't gonna do it. Listen, he's our leader. He's our president. You saying, what? Girl, have you lost your mind? That's the Republican Party. Don't you know that God said what? To honor all men. No, he didn't. He didn't say that. No, he did. Yes, he did. I'm going to read it to you. 1 Peter. You know I'm going to come to you with the word of God. I am. I ain't trying to steer you wrong. I ain't trying to get you to change your mind about who you going to vote for. It ain't even about that. It's about doing the right thing. And that's to pray for our leaders. Listen at this. 1 Peter, 2nd chapter, starting at verse 13. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. For so is the will of God. Okay, did you hear me? Not so is the will of Will Sanja. Not so is the will of you. But so is the will of God. That with well-doing, that means doing the right thing, ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. What makes a man foolish? By them not applying the law of God. If you're not abiding by the word of the law of God, then guess what? You're going to be looking like a fool, acting like a fool, and sounding like a fool when you're not all the way aligned and connected, which means what? Allowing God to lead, which means what? You are particularly following the will of God. Then it says this right here. As free, listen at this carefully, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but use your liberty for a cloak as the servants of God. Did you hear that? God said, yeah, you free and whatnot. Got the free to vote, the free to think this way, free to think that way. But he says, make sure in your freedom, in your liberty, that you are in your liberty as servants of God and not using your liberty as maliciousness. You heard that, right? Then it says here, lastly, honor all men, not just honor the Democratic Party, not just honor the Republican Party, not just honor your sect of people over here, not just honor your BFF. It says honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. Now, I didn't write this. Not once at all did I have anything to do with what I just read. I just read to you the law of God. God said for you to honor all men. And in that, what I just read, God is talking about leadership as well. Yeah, you may not like President Trump. You may not like the way he acts, the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he looks, his hair. You may not, but guess what? God set him up. Which means what? God allowed him to be in that position. And God said you are to honor him. You are. And if you're not, then what route are you on? You over there praying and asking God to do this for you and to do that for you, but you hate your president. Don't you know God says, well, he ain't listening to your prayer when you harbor iniquity in your heart, when you harbor unforgiveness in your heart, when you hate your brethren? He ain't listening to you. That's why I told y'all when I was at, God said, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. He says, then I'll hear from heaven and heal your land, give you that manifestation, give you your healing and whatnot. I'm asking you to pray for President Trump. Why? Because he has coronavirus. You say, well, you know what? President Trump acted like he didn't care about people who were dying from the coronavirus. And he acted like he didn't care. But look at him now. He gonna get corona. He got corona. He and his wife, they gonna die. Go on and die so that my party can win. Does that sound godly to you? Does that sound godly to you? That sounds like forward forward thinking. And God said that's an abomination. That means what? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. God said no. When people do things against you and towards you in a mean and bad way, God said, well, you are to pray for them and to what? Bless them. Why? Because God said vengeance is his. God told you what? Feed your neighbor when they're hungry. Right? He said, give them water to drink when they're thirsty. He said, how do you overcome evil? By doing good, right? So if you are over there saying, yay, Corona got President Trump, die, 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 die. Is that of God? Is that the right thing to do? Is that the right type of thinking? You said, well, I ain't religious. I'm not religious. I don't follow no religion. Well, does that sound like something good to you? Does it? It doesn't. It doesn't. I'm this type of person, y'all. When I meet people or I see people, I want to see who they really are. Everybody didn't come from the same walk of life. They didn't. They didn't. Everybody grew up in different environments and stuff. Even if you grew up on the same street, in everybody's household, there was a different environment. And for me, I want to see who you are. I don't want you pretending in front of me. That's why when I get on here, I don't be like, thanks so much for clicking on my channel. We're all responsible here. I am Wilsonja. It's like asking a question. Wilsonja. I'm not changing my voice for you. I'm not doing this and that for you. I'm not. I'm who I am. This is who I am. I'm gonna say chew instead of you sometimes. I'm gonna talk the way I talk. I'm gonna walk the way I walk. I'm gonna tell you what I feel. I'm gonna tell you, of course, not just how I feel, but according to the word of God. I'm gonna do that. That's me. I ain't got nothing to hide. I ain't got nothing to hide. Now, if you in my business as far as how much money I make and all this other kind of stuff, now I'm going to say, listen, wrong road. That ain't none of your business unless you're trying to pay some of these bills over here, okay? But listen, truth be told, I want to see who you really are. Don't be pretending. We have all come across different politicians, okay, who have worn so many multiple masks. Okay, and you didn't know who you were getting, and then when it was all over, you was like, oh my God, I didn't know that's what they were. I didn't know that's what they did. I didn't know. And so you were so shocked. We don't have that with President Trump. That's why I like him, because he ain't hiding who he is. He say what he said, does what he does. Matter of fact, I like that, because you know what God says about that? He says this: he that hideth, this is in Proverbs 10 and 18, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. And I told you how you become a fool. You become a fool because you're not abiding by the word, the law of God, which God is telling you to do what? Do what is right. Don't be wearing the cloak of maliciousness because it feels good to your ego, mind-biting ego, because you don't like the way they look, like the way they sound, and don't like the way they do this. You don't like this particular party. You don't like that particular party. You don't like that group. And you just saying, and you're using your freedom. Your freedom is guided by your hatred. Your freedom is guided by your unforgiveness. Your freedom is guided by the wickedness in your heart. And like I said, when you harbor wickedness, unforgiveness, and all this other stuff in your heart, it's easy for you to throw somebody under the bus. It's easy for you to say, that's good that happened to them, because you remember what they did to us. You don't have no mercy for anybody. You ain't thinking about what if that was you in that position. My husband and I was talking about that a while ago. How some people are so quick to judge everybody. How some people are quick to, if people had the right, if God gave people, human beings the right to just grab you up and toss you in some fire, a lot of us would have been burned up a long time ago. Because everybody don't render the same mercy that you render them. Just think about the story in the Bible, how this guy owed the king so much money. And when the king sent for him and he got there, the king was going to kill him. He was going to just, have his way with him. And the dude was pleading, please, 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 please. I'm so sorry, sir. He was just pleading his life and just saying he had a wife and kids and all this other stuff. And so the king got compassion. So wait a minute. You have touched me with your compassion and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. You know what? I'm going to forgive your debt. I'm going to forgive your debt. Your debt is forgiven. Go about your way. And the guy leaves. He's all happy. This guy's all happy. But somebody owed him some money. And it was little, much smaller than what he owed the king, right? But you know what that dude did when he saw the dude that owed him? He said, hey, listen, where my money, Jack? Where my money, Jack? And the dude was like, oh, I don't have it. And this dude started pleading the way he pleaded to the king, right? You know what he did? He beat him. He said, no, you ain't got my money. Just like a pimp. Where my money? Where my money? Where my money? He didn't have no compassion. But compassion was shown to him. And that's how you should know that if you have that same type of thinking, if you are the same way, you know that you have done some things in your life, and those things you've done it to those people, but when they see you, they still smile at you, they still wave at you, they're still showing love to you. You should know that if you don't have compassion for somebody else, when compassion has been given to you, God is not hearing your prayers. He's not. He's not. God said he don't hear the ones that harbor iniquity in their heart. And if you over there wishing that something happens to somebody because you don't like them, because of how they speak, because of how they act, because you think they're racist, because you think they do this, and because you think they do that, then God is not answering your prayers. He's not. He can't answer them because he don't hear you. That's what he said. He said, I don't hear those. They have forward thinking, because he said forward thinking is an abomination, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. God said that's not what you do. He told you. He said what? Pray for those and bless those who curse you and what? Despitefully misuse you. Why? Because God said at the end of the day, vengeance is his. So you don't need to be over there trying to wish stuff on other people. Because when you're doing that, you're in the same act as they were. If somebody's sending bad to you, and then you say, well, I send it right back to you, you're sending it to that individual. You're not sending it to that spirit that's dwelling in that individual. That's what makes it wrong, because you're sending it to the person, instead of praying against that spirit in the spirit realm. So listen, you may not like our President Trump. And this is not just for the United States. This is for every single country on this planet. If your leaders are sick, and even if they're not sick, pray for them. That's what we're supposed to do. Just think about it, ladies and guys. You guys who are married, don't you want your wife to pray for you because you're the head of the household? What if your wife said, you know, I don't like the way my husband chew his food, so I ain't praying for him. No, I don't want to hang out with my husband. But go out to eat. No, I ain't going out because he chew. You ain't going to cover your husband. You ain't going to pray for your husband. You're not. He's over you. Guess what? If the head ain't right, then under the head all the way down to the tail ain't going to be right either. And you wonder why our country is looking the way it's looking. Regardless of who's the president, you've got to pray for the leaders. Those in government, pray for them, because they running things. It is the most foolish thinking for one to say, I'm not going to pray for those in leadership. Pray for them. And if they're not in the headspace where you know they're supposed to be in, God, then pray to God. God, give them your wisdom. Give them your way. Give them the knowledge, the revelation they need to run this country, to run our church, to run the household the way they're supposed to under you, God, because I'm following you. Yes, he's the president. Yes, he's my husband. Yes, he's the governor. Yes, he's this. Yes, he's that. Yeah. But God, I'm following you, and God, I want to follow you through him. That's the prayer. That is the prayer we need to be praying. So even though you don't like President Trump, even though you quote unquote hate President Trump, if you are in the path like you say you are, as following God, then you will do what I read to you today. You will pray for those who are in leadership. You will honor them. Honor all men. That's the will of God. He says, use your freedom. Use your liberty as the liberty and freedom as a servant of God, and not as a cloak of maliciousness. So regardless how you feeling over there with your mind, body, and ego, I'm telling you what is right. I'm sharing to you what is right. Honor all men. Keep our President Trump and those of you in other countries, your president, keep them in prayer. Pray for them and their families. If you can't do that, then maybe somewhere in your heart, I don't know which side y'all gonna see me, somewhere in your heart, okay? You are harboring unforgiveness. You are harboring hatred. And I'm telling you, if you are, then you are indeed blocking all of your blessings, blocking all of your manifestations. If you have any maliciousness, any unforgiveness, any hatred in your heart, then you are blocking your blessings. You are. You're trying to figure out why things ain't working out. It's because you hate your president. It's because you hate your leader. It's because you hate your husband. It's because you're not obeying your husband. It's because you're not respecting your husband. I'm not telling you got to kiss the feet of everybody. I'm just saying, do what God asks you to do. And if you don't know how to respect leadership, then why not ask God for the wisdom of how to do it? Because God says, "What? He that lacks wisdom, let him ask it of me, and I will give it to him liberally." Just ask God, and he'll give you the wisdom of how you are supposed to respect those who are in leadership, regardless of what title they have. Because God said, honor all men. I didn't say it. God said it. So keep your president, keep our president in prayer. Pray for him. All of us have been affected by corona. Like I told y'all before, if I forgot to mention it, we have had 2 family members that passed away that I know of right now from corona, back to back, an aunt and an uncle. And we couldn't even attend the funeral. We had to attend it over the phone. And thankfully, we were able to do that. And I just had a family member to pass away, but it wasn't from corona. So people are dying every day. In other words, pray for everybody. Don't wish harm on people, because that's forward thinking. That's an abomination to God. Don't wish bad on anybody. God said, bless them and pray for them. If people have done you wrong and are treating you wrong, bless them and pray for them, because God got your back at the end of the day. And God knows how to change the hearts of people. You can't change them. And by you wishing bad on people, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, it ain't gonna work. And you know what God also said? He said that when he does send his wrath on those who are wicked, who have done bad things to you and whatnot, if you start to rejoice, yay! Oh, they sick. I told you God was gonna get you. God said he will remove his wrath, his punishment from them. All because you're participating in wicked now, because you're rejoicing over somebody that's being punished. And that is not godly. It's not. So at the end of the day, remember, it's a long one. I hope you stuck with it. Whether you like it or not, President Trump is our president. And I'm going to keep praying for him, and I'm asking you to do the same. And I'm praying, not just pray for President and everybody and just the leaders. Pray for the whole world. Pray for everybody, okay? For everybody, including yourself. And watch how your world will look a little brighter. Talking about letting the world show how bright it is. Start doing that, praying for everybody, including your president. Watch how your world will become much peaceful. Y'all get it, got a good hostel, but if not, rewind this thing and watch again. I know it was a long one, but in the meantime, in between time, if you take just a little bit of what I'm telling you and apply to life to the best of your ability, you won't ever have the Mexican smile. Why? Because your smiles will always be genuine. I'll tell you soon. Be blessed, stay blessed, be blessed, stay blessed, be blessed, stay blessed. Pray for President Trump. Yes, because God put him in place. Y'all know what's coming next. Ciao.